All right, let's go through this evaluation here. So first we're going to evaluate the GUI, which does a really poor job actually, but let's go through it anyway. So the CSH number 1 is that it explains what new features do and why they're useful. I gave myself a 0 out of 10 because the new feature here is the person generator, which actually isn't included in the GUI. It's only included when you run it in the terminal. So I put a 0 out of 10 because you can't even see it. CSH number 2, explain what existing features do and why they're useful. So I gave myself a 3 out of 10 here because it seems a little self-explanatory here just because it's so minimal, but I don't really do a good job of explaining what happens. So 3 out of 10 there. CSH number 3, let people gather as much information as they want and no more than what they want. I gave myself a 6 out of 10 because really there's no other choice but to get as much or as little information as you want because there's only 3 bits of information here. CSH number 4, keep familiar features available. Gave myself an 8 out of 10 because the familiar features are available here. So the person generator was the new feature added. It's not even included here. So it looks exactly the same. CSH number 5, make undo / redo and backtracking available. So technically you can backtrack. All you need to do is just export again, so redo is available. However, I don't really do a really good job of explaining that, so I gave myself a 5 out of 10 here. CSH number 6, provide ways to try out different approaches. Gave myself a 0 out of 10 because there really is no other way except the main approach, which is to go through here. CSH number 7, communicate the amount of effort that will be required to use a feature. Once again, gave myself a 5 out of 10. Because it's so minimal, I feel like that inherently says how much effort is required. Clearly not a lot, but I could be more specific. Like one of the things that you'll see in my document is that I thought like, oh, right here I could say how big the file is, like the size of the file, and that can kind of give users a sense of like how much effort is required in exporting a file. CSH number 8, provide a path through the task. Gave myself a 7 out of 10 because there is really no other path but the path given here, but I could be more explicit. One of the ideas I had in my document, which you can see later, is that I had like thought of putting numbers here so people know like, oh, there's a step to this. And finally, CSH number 9, encourage mindful tinkering. Gave myself a 5 out of 10 just because like you can redo as much as you want. However, I'm not really encouraging. So when you do get a chance to look at my revised GUI, and I wonder if I should pull that up here. Okay, really quickly. I'm not really sure what the requirements are, but I'm just going to show this really quick. Okay, so if you see at my revised GUI, you'll see that I have like a little help icon that shows people how to export using an input.csv file so that you can get more than just one output. You can get multiple. I also have numbers here that will that satisfies CSH number 8, which is going through an actual path. Having the size of the file here satisfies CSH number 7 because it shows the effort, like, hey, this is going to take 52 megabytes, be prepared. And then this copy right here is like an explanation of features. So that's how I would revise the GUI to make that more accessible to users. Okay, so now let's go through the code. Let's go through some code smells. So obsolete comments. So it's a little bit hard to discuss this because I've already fixed it, but I did go through obsolete comments. So I had a comment, I had a comment right here that basically said, that commented this out and said, hey, don't use this if the person generator is not present. That was obsolete because this can run whether or not the person generator code is present. So I removed that. Commented out code. So I actually had commented this out because my person generated code wasn't present. And it doesn't matter. I can run the server regardless. It's fine. So I removed that commented out code. Redundant comments. So if you look at my code here, I don't think, like, the comments are now pretty sparse, and I don't really think that I have redundant code. You know, in the last assignment, we did a lot of cleaning up of code smells, so I think a lot of that has been taken care of. Let's see, long comment. My comments aren't really long. I have doc strings here, but the comments themselves aren't really long. And that's because, let's see if you can see here. That's because I don't know if you see this gray bar here, but you know, the PyCharm really prevents you from going beyond what's available. So whenever I do something, I'm trying to stay within that guardrail. Long function. So there are some long functions here. In particular, like if you look at the the database here, like creating products, it seems to be pretty long here. However, it does one job and it creates products, and it sets, like, these are all attributes of one product. And it really doesn't make sense to split that into different functions, because it's iterating through an array and then adding all of the attributes. So I'm keeping it like that. Likewise, if you look at some of the sorting, this is just a regular merge sort function. It doesn't make sense for me to split it because that's what it is. It's a merge sort function. So I'm keeping it there. Function with many jobs. So this generator GUI, this setup window has a crap ton of jobs. And really, and I actually want to add that for like long, let's see. No, I think it's just many jobs. Yeah, so it has a lot of jobs here because it takes a lot to set up a window. And I tried, you know, abstracting it away by doing multiple like embedded functions. But, you know, so I'm pretty new with tkenter, and when I embed a function too much, it just doesn't, I'm unable to call the specific object that I need to. So I'm leaving this as is. Because it works, and trying to abstract it away into different functions even further makes it so that the code is, you know, error full. Okay, so that was for long function. This actually, oh no, we already discussed long function. That was for function with many jobs. Okay, function with many parameters. So honestly, I did a lot of work to clean this up. So I don't believe that my code has, like, my functions, like you can look at these, there's not a lot of parameters here. We've got, you know, not a lot going on here. Not a lot of, it's just not happening. So I don't think it's there. Also, duplicate code. So sometimes it may seem like there's duplicate code, like there's my sort functions here, like sort by ID, sort by number of views, sort by average rating. However, they have different purposes. Like one's going to sort by greater, one's going to sort by less, one's going to sort from a different parameter. So I did not refactor this because I thought that it was good. Inconsistent conventions. I don't think there's any inconsistent conventions here. I, from the last assignment, cleaned it up pretty well. Naming. And I think, you know, naming, like, I'm pretty big fan of long function names so that it's very specific. So I don't think that there's any naming smells here. So, although I see that this is here and it's not being used, so I guess that's a smell. Boop. And that's it. Cool.